What's up, guys? Sorry for the delay on part 2 of the motorized bike build. I actually had the footage recorded the other day and accidentally deleted it, so I'm a little bit further along than I was during that video, but I'll go ahead and show you what I've done. Starting with the engine. The engine arrived last week on Friday, only 3 days late. Excuse me. And I got that installed. What was required to install it is, for one thing, I had to remove the exhaust, and I have that right here. So the stock exhaust actually sits on top of the engine. I can't really demonstrate it with the frame in the way, but it goes right in there. So that has to come off. The valve cover, I just put a slight kind of divot in with a hammer and knocked that corner down, because it's a really snug fit, but it does fit. So I knocked that down, removed the gas tank, which for this gas tank is just 3 8mm bolts and then your hose clamp on the fuel line. Removed that and removed the air cleaner, which actually could have stayed. I'll show you that here. The air cleaner sits right here. Whoops, sorry. Right here. And that could stay if you wanted to use the stock air box. What I'm actually doing, and I'll include links to this in the description, but I'm going to be using a different intake that I'll order online, and that brings the carburetor back and around here so it sits flush with the valve cover. And it's going to be a slide carburetor instead of a butterfly carburetor. That way I have an easier transition to using a throttle type grip like this. With that slide carburetor, this cable will just slide into that, and I won't have to mess with a throttle linkage kit, and I'll have much better throttle response with that. So that will be coming. And then an exhaust pipe. These are easy to find and they're readily available online, and I'll also include a link to that. The website that I'm using in particular is called Affordable Go-Karts. I think it's .com, and I'll include a link. But they offer a variety of performance parts for these 79cc Predators. So that new exhaust will come out and just go straight back, probably about this far. And they also offer a couple that come down and then back and have a muffler attached. Those are currently out of stock. So what I'm going to do is run it just with that pipe, and if it's way too loud, I'll just weld on like a lawnmower muffler and use it that way. So that will be coming, and other than that, it'll just have a pod air filter that attaches to that new carburetor, so I can get rid of the old air box. And I'll show you how I ended up mounting this to my Boy Go Fast engine mounting kit. What I did is, this engine comes with an adapter plate that would adapt it to a larger bolt pattern, like on a 212cc Predator or just about any other horizontal engine that's a little bigger. And what I did is bolted this adapter plate onto the bottom of the engine, and then I had to cut the front half off flush with the bottom of the engine so it doesn't stick out any further. And then I just took a bead of weld wherever I could, because none of my bolt holes then lined up, and welded it on. And the reason that none of my bolt holes lined up is, as you can see, looking head on, if you see the pulley back there on the wheel, it's right in line with the pulley clutch up here on the engine. And actually, it's a tad bit pushed out, but I think that'll be okay. And looking at the engine head on, it sticks out quite a bit further to this side, and that's going to be okay. The reason I decided to do that versus centering the engine is that way I avoided my jack shaft setup, and that was going to end up being a lot of time and headache and just extra junk on the motor that I didn't really want, or on the bike, excuse me, that I didn't really want. It would have worked good and would have offered me more gear options, but this was just a simpler way of doing it. So this way I'll just have a belt that runs straight back. I can avoid the jack shaft, and as you're sitting on the bike, it's hard to show this, but it actually is just perfect. You can get your leg around and onto the foot peg without any problems. So I think this will end up being the way to go. So I'll include links to those other parts and to that website. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. Like and subscribe, I appreciate it. And I will see you on part 3. Thanks for watching.